Welcome to the Vocal Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Martin Thomas. Vocal Freedom is a bi-weekly podcast raising awareness about vocal health and well-being from members of the voice community. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good day. I can't believe we've reached December 2020 already. This year really has been like no other, hasn't it? It's just about everyone I know and everyone I've worked with. So we've got a month or so to go. We're nearly there, guys. And listen, I count my blessings and start my day with gratitude now every morning that we're still here and we're safe and we're breathing together. My heart goes out to my relatives in California and Vancouver Island in Canada who have lost direct relatives to coronavirus, and anyone listening who has suffered through this world-changing pandemic. I'm hoping that this last month of 2020 will see more positive changes as we edge closer to a vaccine lifeboat. I recognise I'm so fortunate to be here, and I'm excited to reach episode 30 of this podcast. I really can't complain about so much about this year, as I know plenty of people that have suffered things much worse than me, and they're facing a bleak Christmas this year. But I really do think that this new way of connecting with each other has brought about some positive changes this year, and I can't complain. I've got to do my dream podcast, speak to some amazing people about their journeys and how they understand their relationship with their voices. It's an interesting topic, and everyone I've spoken to has been really sort of almost in a way a little bit grateful to sort of sit and actually ask themselves these questions, because when you're really, busy going through your life, these aren't things you tend to ask yourself. And especially if you're, working as a voice professional. So here's the thing, right? Through December, I'm going to be recruiting some test subjects to take part in a program I'm producing that starts in January called Reset and Manifest. It's an 8-session pilot study where each session includes a presentation, demonstration, or experience, which you will then, as a participant, be asked to test and review. The purpose of this study is to measure from a mixed group of adults, so you have to be over 18 to take part, with different vocal demands, how helpful each core concept or experience is perceived to be, whether you found it useful, whether you would do it again, how you rated it, and whether you would recommend it to others. Some sessions will be more effective for you than others, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong in giving your opinion. You just need to be honest when you complete the questionnaires. I'd say that you sort of need to come in with an open mind and a sense of adventure. So I'm hoping that I can actually just engage a few more people into this process, because what I'm interested in doing at the beginning of next year, as we literally step into January 2021, discovering together in a small group format what resets you. The easiest or best way will involve some exercises in self-discovery, some time spent reflecting on tasks, asking and answering questions about yourself that you might not have asked before. The win for you is you can try out a bunch of new things, keep the parts that you find helpful, and drop anything that you didn't find helpful. It's a bit like a taster menu in a restaurant, only spread out on a series of dates. As many of you listening will know, I've spent a lot of years now studying voice and well-being, and this is my big passion. It's a true joy for any teacher to witness your client or student achieve a goal and find ease in producing the sound they wanted all along. I've also worked with people who have complicated lives and lifestyles, those in recovery from vocal trauma or in speech therapy. And I almost went down that pathway of moving into more clinical work before finding myself at this unexpected junction, being pulled towards some of my original interests from my youth. The Vocal Freedom Podcast came about this year and has charged me to bring some long-held beliefs of my own forward. The concept of the voice being something that can be freed implies it can be something that can be imprisoned. And for singers, the voice can feel somewhat locked down when in training, when you know what you want it to sound like, but you haven't quite mastered your techniques to get there. So there's vocal freedom for singers, but there's also vocal freedom for us as a race, as a human race. We have freedom of speech, the right to speak out about what matters to us, The joy of expressing yourself through song and music of your own creation, or speaking or singing the words of others that resonate with you. Your voice is deeply connected to who you are and why you're here. So Reset and Manifest is also about addressing your passions and purpose with a new awareness of how your voice on the inside, some might call the inner voice or the inner critic, might require some attention. For performers, I know you know this. I know you know that you are what you think. And if you walk out onto that stage or walk into that exam or audition room and your inner critic is saying to you, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm not prepared, then you know it's going to come crashing down. And then you know that feeling of fear. Even before I started drama school, and this is a little bit interesting for me to talk about today, I don't really have anyone left in my sort of circle who I was friends with at school now. I mean, I've got friends on Facebook that, you know, you keep in touch with here and there, but we haven't met up for years. I really must try and do something about that. Anyway, when I was in my teens, aside from music and the performing arts, I was also at one point really interested in helping others and briefly looked into training as an occupational therapist. I had a particular interest and could sort of see how music and movement can be used as a mood leveler and help bring people back into a regulated state. At 17, I was ambitious, but with a turbulent, messy, stressful home life and had adverse childhood experiences. I can look back now and recognise why I lost my motivation for education and a life of service in possibly the healthcare industry linked with music. And instead, literally, honestly, now look back and I feel like my favourite Disney character as a child, Pinocchio, deciding that it was an actor's life for me and literally ran away to drama school. Thank you, by the way, if you're hanging in there with me with my story sharing today. I just feel it's a little necessary to help me express the why of why I'm offering this to you in the new year. My motivation is to continue to support the people who want to work with me, coaching them with both support to reach their vocal goals, but providing some extra resources to help them with their head game. Preparing for a performance, exam, audition, as many of you will know from your own experience, can be exhilarating or completely terrifying, depending on your perspectives. Simply having somebody, a teacher say to you that singing or acting on stage is not going to harm you and there's nothing to worry about, is not enough to actually stop your brain sending out the signals that send you speeding into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Anyone who's ever stepped on stage alone can testify to feeling a shift in their energy. Now, you can go towards the place that's helpful, but you can also quite easily go towards the place that's crushing. Lots and lots of useful things can be done now in the run-up to a performance, which I have been doing for years, making sure that the singers feel well rehearsed and prepared with their work, rehearsing in the venue if it's a performance so they know what to expect, where the lights are going to be, what the sound is going to be like in that space, what it's going to look and feel like, removing the mystery. That's part of the fear when you're going somewhere you haven't been before, isn't it? It's still a mystery of how you're going to get there, what the journey's going to be like. The unknowing is the scary part. But telling people that it's going to be okay, I don't think that's enough for some people. So this pilot study is testing different ways to hack your nervous system, to develop your control of your nervous system responses when under stress, developing the relationship with your voice and the connection between your inner voice and your sense of self, looking at how you view your worthiness, how to get up every morning with a spring in your step, ready to speak or sing without fear. Reset and Manifest is for anyone who wants to pick up 2021 with me with both hands and dive right in. You will be able to discover how to think like a high performer, hack your nervous system responses, perform with true confidence, improve your own self-awareness, customize your own reliable voice regime with variations to suit you on different days, different weeks, for different demands, in different moods. It's all in language that I think I'm developing for the under 18s, but I can't test it with under 18s. I need adults to take part in this study and I need adult feedback. And that's why this is a pilot study. It's about tuning into your relationship with your inner voice. But I think the benefits for actually taking part in this study is having a greater sense of how you can control your own response to things that might at the moment make you go into a bit more of a panic mode. And for some people, that is just even the thought of performing, the thought of getting up and singing in public or speaking in public. I want to help you understand how you can actually control that. That's going to involve tuning into the relationship with your inner voice, developing your mindset, and strengthening your learning skills. There's so many good things that I think will come out of it. So I think it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. It's research that I want to do to help me move forward with what I'm going to be offering, and hopefully with help of some other teachers, bringing into education, particularly for the under 18s who want to go into professional performing arts or any industry where your voice is your most valuable tool. I think, to be fair, I think your voice is valuable in any industry, because having that ability to speak out and speak up is stepping into your fullness of being, as far as I'm concerned. Focusing more on resetting, developing your own self-development can help you in all areas of your life, not just how you use your voice for singing. It can actually have a knock-on effect on how you behave and how other people therefore behave around you. So I'll say now, it might be worth, if you're considering taking part in this, having a discussion with the people that you live with, or even maybe have a discussion with your partner and consider them taking part with you. It would be nice to see more couples willing to do things together and bring about more conversation, opening up, and keeping that line of communication going into the small hours. Or is that just me? But sometimes part of how we view ourselves is as if more through the eyes of others. Some of the truths our inner critic, our inner voice might tell us, might be based more on the words we've heard from others. Words spoken years ago when we were just children. Part of this work will be asking you to question some things you might believe to be true and could well see you see things differently by the end of this study. Resetting is just that, resetting. Resetting your mindset, your motivation, and putting you into the best position to manifest the reality that you want, the life that you want, the voice that you want, that you deserve. Resetting your approach, not just to your vocal training, but to your well-being. So earlier I mentioned about going into panic mode and doing exercises to overcome that. And that's going to involve understanding a bit about the science of how we can hack our body chemistry. I'm not interested in putting it in really complicated academic voice study work. This isn't conforming to a study method that somebody who's undertaking a PhD would do. This is about spreading work that I think is helpful and should be free access to children, free access to young adults, free access to everyone. It shouldn't have to be something that you pay lots and lots of money for. However, I do have to make a living, so this is the way it works. There's 8 sessions online that will last 30 to 60 minutes. There's questionnaires to complete and there's study work to be done at home. But I have modelled this so that the biggest commitment for some of the sessions is that for 10 days, you undertake a practice that takes 10 minutes. So that's 100 minutes over the course of 10 days. So that's not even 2 hours over the course of 10 days. I'm not asking for lots and lots of your time. 10 minutes for 10 days. But some of them, interchanged with some of those 10-day studies, will be an experience or a demonstration that will give you something to add into that 10 days. So it's not 10 days for every single session, is what I'm saying. It's not ongoing for the entire length of the course. So there are 8 sessions. The dates there are 3 in January on Fridays, 2 in February, and 3 in March. So there are 8 total sessions, and they're all on Fridays. Now, at this stage, I haven't committed to the time of day because when I launched the application, I'm listing 3 possible times on a Friday. And when the applications come in, I'll be able to make a choice at that stage. So I'm not going to run the course 3 different times. I'm going to do it once, but I'm going to try and do it at a time where the most people can attend. And this is because, this is the reason I think this doesn't need to be a big group of people, but it does need to be a group of people that are committed to seeing it through. I think that the other part about this that I'm testing at the same time is that sense of support group. So holding yourself accountable to completing the study will mean that you're part of a small group that at the end of session 2 will have a discussion about how they're doing at that point, how they, if anything that's happened since session 1 has had an impact, and sharing that and being able to share that with each other. Not everyone has to, and not everyone will want to, but being able to is a way of using your voice in that regulated state. And actually, this is interesting. I get a real, sympathetic nervous system response most of the time when I'm waiting for someone to arrive in my Zoom room. And I've recognized that there's a small anxiety that creeps up pretty regularly if somebody's not on time, that I feel like I have a pattern of behavior of, are they coming? Have they forgotten? Should I have texted to remind them? All of this little checklist, because I don't remind clients if they've got a lesson. I trust them to have it in their diary or have it on their schedule and be prepared for their lesson. If they don't arrive, which to be fair, it doesn't happen that often, but it happens on the odd occasion, I tend to feel a response to that. And I think that response, if I'm honest, comes from a sense of responsibility of, could I have done more? Could I have done more to make sure that student was here? Is it my responsibility at this point, or do I need them to take responsibility at this point? And it depends who the person is as to how I feel about that. Some people, I think, need a little bit more coaching to commit to themselves. And this study is involving some measures that I'd like to offer for the people that might need them. So I'm basically testing their efficacy. I hope this makes sense. Something else I think we can all recognise, our voice reflects how we feel without us having to try too hard. Our lifestyles and experiences affect our mood, our well-being, and our voice gives us away. It shows us and others how connected we're feeling in that moment. Balancing work, family, friends, and then having time left over for yourself, I've noticed how easy it is for me, and some of you, never to practice that downtime. I didn't see that behaviour modelled in my family when I was growing up. Over the past 20 years since I became a parent, well, nearly, my daughter's 20 in March, my son's 18 in January. I just had an aside there of a pang of sadness that my mum's missing out on that. Some of you will know I lost my mum quite early. She died it'll be 10 years ago next year, of Alzheimer's disease. She got early onset symptoms at 62 and she passed away at 70. So when I talk about my children growing up, I just get this immediate wave of emotion, feeling a bit of sadness that she's missed out on seeing them grow up. Anyway, since becoming a parent, my voice work changed dramatically, and I put myself on pause to some extent for quite a few years. My little family became everything, and I'm so very, very grateful for them and that time. The time I've been able to spend researching and preparing over the last few months has only been possible really because of the blessings of support and patience of those around me. I've had fewer clients since staying on Zoom from September. Some pros have had to stop with money being really tight, and I completely understand that. And others just haven't necessarily got on with Zoom. I think it's a good platform for me and for those that have stuck with me. We've seen some tremendous improvements this term, which is really uplifting and does keep me motivated to just keep learning, keep advancing my knowledge so I can share new and interesting perspectives and help the people I work with. When family life's off balance or there's worries about workload and worries about things, this is where the skills that I'm offering through this course that I've been learning about and practicing through this year have really helped me through tough times and is helping me to help others already. So I'm reaching out now to you, dear listener. I'm looking for some more people to join me in 2021 to experience some of these practices and maybe understand yourself a bit better, to take a glimpse at some of your inner voice's comments as a witness. Ask yourself some questions. Does your inner critic help or hinder your choices? Now ask yourself this question. Does your practice of anything that's just for you feel like an empty space? How many hours a week are you in a really relaxed, happy, grateful position of healing energy? So if the answer is not many, then come along, come and have these little 8 sessions, put yourself into a little bit of a new experience, step outside of your comfort zone, very tentatively, just a little step, and maybe come along and learn something that's fun and you can take forward. So I'm just about to start an advertising campaign over Christmas that's asking for test subjects to take part in an 8-week pilot study starting in January. For 8 sessions, you join me on Zoom in a small group and I take you through a short presentation, demonstration or experience. Actually, not all of them will be from myself, but most of them will. Some sessions that are an experience, the experience may be a little longer, maybe more towards the hour, but that will be the end of the session. Unless you want to stay on and just have a chat at the end. It could be an experience where then the next day you're asked to complete a questionnaire about how you responded to that experience. But some of the others will be a shorter presentation that will give you some exercises to try at home that will take 10 minutes. And you are kind of to measure the effectiveness and how that's impacted your voice practice over those 10 days. And then you asking at the end of that process, at the end of the 10 days, if you feel that you've progressed in your voice work since you've been working on that particular thing. So it's completely opinion. It's what do you find it effective? There's no right or wrong to that. You can say, nope, didn't find it useful at all. And you could say, oh my goodness, that changed my life. It could be from anywhere on that scale. The study questions are going to give you multiple choice answers. So you just tick the box that you think is most appropriate to you. For measurement purposes, you'll need to be able to record your voice. So using a phone or a tablet is fine for this. You don't need any special equipment. Just the ability to get online for the Zoom meetings and have a willingness to see the test study through to the end. 8 sessions with sometimes work at home, no more than 10 minutes a day. The results of this study are part of a wider plan to bring vocal freedom into education, especially for the youth of today who want to become the professional artists of tomorrow. I always feel there's more to learn. And there are things that can be done in conjunction with your voice study that support not just your voice, but your voice and well-being, your vocal health and well-being. So it's not just the knowing how to take care of it and understanding the mechanics of it, really. It's understanding how you are, who you are, how you are, or what your purpose in using your voice is. When you're on stage performing, it's not really about you anymore. So if you're carrying your baggage around with you on stage, or you're carrying your fear with you onto the stage, then you're not vocally free. That's what I'm really interested in helping people uncover, because I see so much of it. I see so much of it in the younger people today, the pressure on their shoulders and the cyberbullying. It's just something that our generation didn't have to contend with. I'm not saying people weren't mean when I was at school. They could be. And certainly those things can be really I'm sure people in older generations still say that school was tough. Those teenage years are tough, but they just seem worse now. They just seem worse in the way that people can be so mean to each other. Oh my goodness, don't get me started on trolling because, so people who know me know I had a trolling experience. People being extremely mean to me after I did an article with my husband for the Daily Mail many years ago. And I put myself into an extremely vulnerable position. I had a panic attack at a photo shoot, and I ended up in a national newspaper naked with a sheet on myself, which really brought about me seeing the cesspit of humanity when I dived into the comments section when this article, because it was both in the printed newspaper but also on the online platform. And my goodness me, was that eye-opening. I really just saw a side of humanity there that was disgraceful, really. I would never dream of ever trying to hurt anyone with my voice, with my words, with my intention. And I'm sorry, guys, but if you find yourself hearing this thinking, uh-oh, I got a sideline trolling habit, I don't know that this is the place for you. I don't know. I'd be interested in helping you. I want to hear your voice. I want to actually speak to these people and say, what is wrong? What is wrong that you're taking out your cynicism on the world by being nasty to people? Those people have feelings. Those people have feelings, and I cried. I cry. So anyway, I'm not going to keep revealing too many things about myself on this episode that was supposed to be quite short. But listen, I hope you get the idea. So Vocal Freedom Movement is beginning on the 1st of January 2021. It starts with me asking some questions to some people by come along, do this pilot study with me, 8 sessions. Everything will be online in the next few days. The criteria is over 18. Participants will require enough space to stand, move around, lie down and sit well during 8 online sessions lasting 30 to 60 minutes between January and March 2021. All sessions will be recorded and can be viewed anytime by logging into the secure Colchester Voice Academy website using your email address and password that you set up when your application has been accepted. If you're already a member of the community, you will be able to log in using your original email and password. You'll need a reliable viewing device and the ability to get online to use Zoom. Each session includes a presentation, demonstration or experience followed by a live Q&A where you can ask questions and share feedback with the group or privately using the chat box. If you cannot attend a session live, you can still complete the study by viewing the recording within 48 hours of the session date. The course is focusing on practicing coaching techniques for enhanced sense of well-being, understanding and hacking of the nervous system to reframe your anxieties, experience relaxing and meditative experiences to release physical and emotional blockages to enhance the freedom of your voice. This pilot study is evaluating the efficacy of voice work alongside developing personal growth strategies, developing purposeful practice, developing self-awareness, you taking responsibility for your vocal health and well-being as one united practice, learning how your voice can tell you what your body needs, developing your relationship with your inner voice, developing the mindset and behaviors you need to manifest your goals. You will be asked to assess each principle introduced by completing small tasks between sessions and then completing a questionnaire about your experience. Successful applicants will be invited to attend a live Zoom meeting on the 1st of January 21 at 2 p.m. GMT to start the year with a short reset and manifest welcome and introduction. If you miss this session, you can view it up to 48 hours later with a link that will be emailed to you after the meeting. So the Reset and Manifest live session dates are on Friday the 8th, 15th and 22nd of January, Friday the 5th of February and 19th of February, and the 5th, 12th and 19th of March. It's suitable for people who want to explore their vocal freedom, expand their vocal control and awareness, highly suitable for singers who haven't built yet a reliable voice regime, ideal for people who have anxieties about performing, that they feel hinders their ability to be present in performance mode and use their voice to its fullest. Easy to digest, small taster sessions to discover how you can reset and manifest the goals you set yourself for 2021. I'm so excited to get this started. So that's what's consuming my time right now, and I'm just putting this out there. Let's see what happens. Thank you for joining me on the Vocal Freedom Podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the episode and will move into your day with a bit more vocal freedom, feeling that you can express using your voice and let the world hear what you have to say. Visit colchestervoiceacademy.com/podcast. Sign up to be kept informed as new episodes are published and consider joining our online community. Membership to this will allow you to post questions to our guests, link you to show notes, social media links, and entitle you to exclusive offers from our guests. See you next time.